Good afternoon. It's April the 21st, 2016. Time to wrap up the day's trading. We came in today with the E-mini, basically looking for a retest of 2100, 2105, and if we weren't able to get through it, it was the easiest trade to see that it was a sell. We didn't think the bottom would fall out of the market, but there was some news that could move the market, maybe, but more likely a pause consolidation day. Saw best support in the 2085 area, give or take. Obviously best resistance start was at 2105, and that's where we started the day. So pretty good trading when it was all said and done. Retest failure S, almost a mean green trade, put a little in the account. This retest failure, put a little in the account. This retest failure was not doable. This B, put a little in the account. This retest failure was a good trade. Either of these two S's would have put money in the account. Then we just kind of died, and we just really started drifting lower. The easiest trading comes before 11 Central, and we really recommend that you have your trading done before we get to it. So looking at today's profile and structure, what can we expect for tomorrow? Well, our F1 screen says look for it to be a little bit lower. And I think the key right here is this breakout that came out of the 80 area. If we can't crack and start to build volume below 2080, 2082, then this market, put it all together, we're still looking at a fairly pronounced strong P. Looking at our F2 screen, we made some good calls on the F2 screen, and this is where my idea that we were going to trade lower came from. And we talked about this before lunch and after lunch, that because of this B, we ought to retest these lows, see new lows, and take them out. And the first new low we saw was this G print right here that took out the C period low. Then we get a move out of the middle and I period that takes us down, and then you can see right here the low volume number is 78. The breakout came from 82, and we haven't really retested the 82 level. So if we can't get through and build volume below 82, this market can trade higher because of this great big P that we're looking at. Tomorrow's news is limited. Markets PMI flash 52. Baker Hughes rig count last week was 480. I imagine people will expect to see it lower. That's the North American count. It includes Canada. And so right now, test of the 82 area is where we have it. So our first buy is going to be 80, 82. That's where support is. Then we're going to put down 70, 75. It's hard to know when the selling gets going where it will stop, but we've got this breakout here from 75. We got this rotate down at 73.50, and then we start extending the range up from the night session, really in the T period, which takes us to 72. So 70, 75 would be our next support area. On the sell side, last rotate up was 87, so starting out 88 to 90, sell 1, and then 94, 96, sell 2. And we'll see if that actually happens. Okay, treasuries are still under pressure, and they look like they're going to trade lower no matter what happens in the E-mini. I think the consensus opinion is that equities are headed higher. I really think we're going to make new contract highs before it's all said and done. You can see right here we got a lower low, and which gives us a lower high. Excuse me, a lower high, which gives us a lower low, and we've got this breakout from basically 129.08. So pretty good support, 129. 128.8 to 129.16 when we combine the low volume numbers that we see on the F2 screen. F1 says lower. Now, we talked about filling volume in earlier up in this area. And if we go into the congestion area and look at that, we've got a P from a volume standpoint. Fill in a little bit more volume trading here, and we are through 4 o'clock, and we really are starting to lean D. The structural cell, 22.5, 23.5. So this 22, so this PQ ledge up here at 25, cell 1, and 27 to 31, cell 2. On the buy side, we are all the way back down to 16.5, 16 on that last go around, so we'll make 13 to 17 buy 1. No news to really drive the trading tomorrow. A lot of it's just going to be dependent upon the E-mini, then 5 to 9. So this one, put it all together, we're still looking at a pretty pronounced B on the dailies, and like we are headed lower. But when you look at the political discourse and what's going on today, talking about transgendered bathrooms, just I mean, it really is done to keep your eye off the ball, I think. Nobody, you know, the Teamsters in the central states are going to have to cut their pension payouts. And a lot of that comes from government policy right now. They're punishing the saver. You can make any pension plan run and work because they were designed to run on 5% interest rates and or more. You could get 5% in the Treasury world. You could get 6, sometimes 8% in the high yield. And with that, you could manage and handle your pensions. But you can't go out and buy, you can't even buy poor quality paper that gives you 5% anymore. And stock market's just, you know, a stock that returns 3% is a pretty rare animal. So, and you have to have dollars certain to pay pensioners, which means fixed income. So this, we've had public pension plans start to fail. We're going to see more and more of that. Now we're seeing private pension plans start to fail. And CalPERS, the biggest one in the state of California, is in really, really big trouble too. And again, industrial and tax policy can take us down. So the market, a lot of stuff we really need higher interest rates to make a lot of stuff work in the United States. Okay, 66.24, so 24.28, a little bit lower than it was this morning, is 1. 31 to 03, sell 1. 7 to 11, sell 2. On the support side, 12 to 16. And on our buy, 5 to 9. And then 25 to 29. Gold got hammered. Now usually we have a pause day and probably a little bit lower tomorrow because of the selling that took place, especially if that large entity is there again. Rarely do those large entities come in and smack it 2 days in a row like that. So this 35 area down here is where the high volume number is. 35, 37 is probably best support. And we're not too far away from that. 1255 is probably best resistance. So got an equal low and a higher high right here, and this one says okay to buy. If 1245 holds, okay to sell if we fail to get to the 1255, 1260 area. And I'm going to split this out, and you can see right here, there's our break in the market at 43. That really wasn't quite tested today. So 43, 45 is pretty good support. So 45, 47 by 1, 40, 42 by 2. On the sell side, 54, 56, and then 59 to 61. Pretty much 10 bucks below where we were this morning as we started out on our sell zones. I hear that the talks are concluded in Riyadh. Our president with 6 Saudi Arabia and 6 Gulf member states hashed out their next steps in the Middle East. I'm sure on the table Iran was a topic of discussion. With what the United States is doing to help and support Iran right now, they probably weren't too pleased with the answers. But news will dribble out or trickle out if they want it to, if they had something good to talk about. Higher low, higher high. Our sell zone this morning was 44 and a quarter, 44.50. The high was 44.49. That was a great trade, and it set up beautifully, and we saw it coming. So we're definitely dealing with a B with volume below time. We're looking for a place to sell it. And so we're going to make 43.75, 44, sell 1. Might take a 50 to get in. We'll put a 50 out there. And 44 and a quarter, 44.50, sell 2. On the buy side here, our breakout was from 43, so 42.75, 43 buy 1. Maybe get some short covering in this area right here. And then 42, 42 and a quarter for buy 2. Fundamentals have gotten a lot worse this week after Doha. But we do, the central banks have figured out that they've got to keep energy prices up to keep the stock market going. So we may have an artificial floor built in. Eventually, central banks own everything, all stocks, all assets, all company, because they have to keep propping up all these markets. And if they are not constrained where they can print money, it's not hard to do. Then magically they'll revalue their balance sheet and show that all that stuff is worth more than what they paid for it, and off and down the races. Now we sit here, we think the crash is imminent. Remember, on paper, our debt to GDP is a little bit over 100% right now. Japan's is pushing 400%. Japan's been on this path since 1992. Next year, that'll be 25 years, so it can last a lot longer than you think it can. And I think if we want to prosper, if we go back and look and see what has done well in Japan, it's been the multinational corporations and actually Japanese bonds, because the Japanese government keeps buying them up. Surprisingly, it's something you wouldn't want to own with that kind of debt ratio, but that's been an asset class that has done pretty damn good. If you got past yield. Okay, the market broke big time today. We usually get some retracement after that, 50% into the single print, so this 33.35 area. So 30 to 40. Sell 1. Then we have the spill up here in A period at 77, so 60, to 70 will be sell 2. On the buy side, make it 75 to 85, let it go a little bit lower, but not break. Usually it'll pause, and then 50 for buy 2. And that'll do it for me this April the 21st. Tomorrow's the end of another trading week. Time flies when you're having fun. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see you bright and early in the morning. I'm out of here.